All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, in the Facebook world, in the podcast world. I am Kevin Harris. It is the Benchwarmer Podcast, and we're live for the first time from our brand new studios in the Vieux Marché in Biloxi. So very happy to be here. And joining us today in the studio, we've got some big fights happening this weekend at the Biloxi Community Center, Gulf Coast MMA. And right now, the guys behind Gulf Coast MMA, Aaron Yoda Williams and James Sharp. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks for having us, Kevin.
So I had you guys on in March, and since then you've done a couple fights since then. So tell me the transition from March until now. What's going on with Gulf Coast MMA?
Well, I mean, we're just trying to pick it up each fight. We're trying to do a little bit more for the fighters, trying to really make a step above the next guy. So, I mean, we're just trying to make it real good for the fighters and try to find a bunch of different things we can do for them.
So when you're doing that, of course, and you're a fighter.
Yeah.
I still call you a fighter,
Appreciate
even though you're not fighting
Appreciate
right now.
that.
I still call you a fighter. Does it help to know what fighters are looking for in a promotion, coming from your end of it, to be able to help
Definitely,
do that?
Definitely. I mean, I've been doing it for a long time, and I mean, I know what aggravates us, and I know what makes us feel good. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do those little things that makes a fighter think, hey, they actually care.
Right.
So trying to find just anything we can. I mean, we try to just add a little bit here and there, and the bigger we get, the bigger they get.
So are you getting size-wise and attendance-wise, are you getting close to being out of that Biloxi Community Center? I mean, from the pictures I've seen, and I mean, I was at your first one.
Yeah.
And then the pictures I've seen from the ones you've had later. I mean, you were a packed house the very first one you ever did. And I can only imagine that, I mean, you're probably starting to bust at the seams at that community center.
Yeah,
this one, we're probably going to have to turn people away at the door as soon as it opens, just like we did on the first one. So, actually today we were out looking at different venues. So
nice,
you know,
that's good. And I won't ask where or anything. But,
for that reason.
Well, that's awesome. So, James, when you're booking a fight and when you're looking to match a fight, what do you look for on both sides of the fighters to determine whether you think it'll be a good match?
I like to I look for equality, basically. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter what their records are. I mean, if you have one guy that's 0-1, another guy that's 0-1, you know, as long as they're a lot of times if they come from a good school, a good camp, you know, the fights are generally going to be good. You know, it doesn't matter. Like I said, you know, record's a number, but you know, just because someone's record's not as good as another guy's doesn't mean they're not a good fighter either. So,
I mean, that just gives it up to our title holder right now. He was 0-0 whenever he came in, and
our flyweight champion was 0-0. Took the fight on like 3 hours notice. Never fought before, and he come in and he beat the crap out of this guy.
And I guess I can ask some of the fighters that'll be on in a little bit, but from your point of view, what's it take? I mean, what kind of mentality do you have to take a fight in 24-hour notice or less? Just to say, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I mean,
real fighters do that.
Okay.
Real fighters stay ready all the time. They're constantly in the gym. They're training every day. It doesn't matter. You know, like take my boy Brandon Davis for example. I mean, he's been busted up in his UFC fights before, and he will be the very first one in the gym on Monday morning. Like, he doesn't miss. Like, and that's what it takes. I mean, they're just always ready. I mean, a lot of the guys I've trained and worked with, they're all like that. So
kind of like that old saying, "Don't have to be ready if you stay ready."
That's correct.
So that's
100% correct.
Cool. So talk. You kind of did it already a little bit, but when you, how do you keep yourself informed? How do you keep yourself in the know of the fighters in the region? And I mean, what do you do to keep yourself informed in those situations?
Man, honestly, a lot of like people I reach out to and stuff like that are people I've met along the way or are actually trained with in the past and that have gyms now. You know, they're not fighting anymore. They actually have their own gyms and stuff. And a lot of those guys, I've like I said, I've personally trained with them. We go down and train at different gyms all the time, and these guys that we train with, just talk to them if they're interested in fighting on the card. If they're good, we bring them on.
So I don't want, because I'm friends with multiple people who do multiple promotions and stuff like that. I'm not trying to start anything here, but Gulf Coast MMA, what separates Gulf Coast MMA from everybody else?
We're friends with those same guys too. So.
I know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to.
Yeah.
But you
No,
kind of
like
touched
the
on it, looking at it from the fighter side.
Really,
and
that's
stuff
A
like
lot
that.
of that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, really.
I mean, we didn't start this saying, "Hey, let's go out and make tons of money."
Right.
It wasn't that. Whenever we said, "Hey, you know what? I want to be in this." Whenever I do decide to finally hang it up, I still want to be involved. I still want to be a part of this for a long time. I mean, it's always been a passion, and it'll stay a passion.
Yeah, we like I said, both of us are fighters, come from fighting backgrounds. That would be one separation that we have from others, but not and but like look, I mean, I've been hand in hand working with Atlas, and
Right.
Glenn Mattina wasn't a fighter, but I tell you what, he cares about those fighters. He does a good job taking care of them. But like I said, without the fighters, it wouldn't matter what show you're on. The show wouldn't be anything. So we try and take care of our fighters, the best we can. And if we're not, we don't mind being told something we're doing wrong, because we'll fix it and make it better, just so so we can keep these guys. We try to do the best we can and take care of them. So
Awesome. So let's run down this card a little bit, and we do have 3 of the fighters on the card with us that we'll be chatting with them here in just a few minutes. But let's start with fight number 1. You got Nick Burge versus Christian Coppola, or Coppola. How do you say that? Is it Coppola or Coppola? Coppola. So I was able to see Nick fight at Louisiana at Paragon. Great kid. So Bailey Ray's in here chatting up, as a matter of fact. She said she can answer that from a female fighter's point of view. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to fight, because not many promotions give girls or the bigger girls a chance.
Hey, Bailey Ray Jackson, I put her up against any dude. I'm just telling you.
She is like a man.
And Nick Burge just joined us in the chat, and we're talking about his fight. And great young kid, and he's going to be fighting, like we said, Christian. So can you tell us a little bit about that fight? Or
Nick, he hadn't been training very long, probably, but he's I remember I actually went and done some training at his gym before and with him, and the very first time I trained with him, he actually reminded me of probably one of the very first times I trained with Jason Knight. The kid's just tough.
Yeah, tough and gritty.
He doesn't know, of course he's not on Jason Knight's level now.
Right.
But he at that time, he's tough. He has no quit in him. Like he'll fight you to the very end, as you saw in his first fight, And then Christian Coppola, he comes from a good friend of mine named Derek Kennington's gym up in South Carolina. Those guys are always ready. Derek's good. One of those guys who fought in Bellator, been all over the world, training, fighting. He's a good camp,
Awesome. Our good friend, MC extraordinaire, Dynamite, says hi. He's up in the chat room right now.
What's up, Dynamite?
So he'll be here Saturday.
Yep.
Riling up the crowd. So the next fight after that, it's Austin Coleman and Austin Swallow. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
I did it right.
Yeah. Austin Coleman, another guy from Derek Kennington gym up in South Carolina. Good fighter. He's actually fought on our first card here. And then Austin Swallow, he's a debut guy fighting. Comes from a good camp. He's another one of these guys that just because he's a debut, don't look past him. He's good.
I hear you. A lot of when you make those debuts, so you're making your first fight. Does the tendency happen that, hey, we're going to take them for a little bit less because it is his debut and he's never been in the situation before?
Not after I saw this kid fight in Louisiana.
Okay.
I mean,
And he comes from the same gym this kid
Yeah.
comes from.
Okay,
So
okay.
I mean,
they bring Josh Quahagan is their
Okay.
head coach.
Yeah.
He fought in Bellator, been around a while. So
So, and then we go to Emmanuel Harris and Dustin Sund.
Manuel Harris. He's from Auburn, Alabama. Comes from Cage Fit. He's had one fight. Dustin's had a couple fights. This ought to be a good welterweight matchup.
And then Joshua Baker and Carlos Talavera.
Carlos Talavera, he's a gangster. That dude,
Yes, he is.
he loves the fight, man. We like having him on our card. He actually fought on our last show we had down there. He fought for our title and lost a very close split decision. And Joshua Baker come down. He's from South Carolina also, and he's very good. Good boxer, good.
Came in, let himself be known. I mean,
Real good jiu-jitsu guy, and he actually asked to fight Carlos. This will be for whoever wins this will get the next shot at the 170 belt. So
Very cool. And then we get into Dwayne McQueen and Odie Delaney. Odie will be on with us here in just a few minutes. He is here in the studio. So tell me a little bit about that one.
I'm excited for this fight. Odie, he's making his professional debut in this fight here. Odie's comes from a good wrestling pedigree. He's an awesome dude. I love watching him fight. Just how he takes control of everything from start to finish. And Dwayne McQueen, he shows up to fight every time he comes. Or every time I've seen him fight. Both some big guys gonna go at it.
Awesome. Well, we'll be talking to Odie here in just a few minutes. And then we roll into what made you decide to make this a championship fight night and have 6 championships in one night?
why not?
Why not?
No,
Yeah.
I agree. Why not? You don't see it. You very seldom you'll see 1 or 2, but you never see a full night
Yeah.
of championships.
Yoda and I talked about it. We had a lot of guys that we were wanting to offer title fights, and just there's not enough time in the year to do one on every show. So
Right.
it was just like, well, why not just do it all in one night?
So, did the stars have to align to be able to make all of this happen as far as 6 championships?
Man, we just jumped on it early and,
Yeah.
and lined everything up. That's just
And not too many fallouts or backouts. So, I mean, only a few changes in the
Yeah, there's
card.
only been a couple changes in the card. Most of these guys, that's just the names you see on this card. They've been there since for the past 3 months.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yeah,
our first
so-
title fight is going to be a flyweight title fight, and it's Terrence Jones and Donzel Marshall.
Donzel, that's the kid we was telling you about, the 0-0 guy that took a fight on a couple hours notice and
This is
come
gonna
in
be a good
there.
fight.
He actually, he beat a guy that trains with Johnny Bedford over in Texas. Good camp, good gym.
Yes.
The guy was really solid wrestler, good striking, and I mean the kid's just he's athletic and he's very, very exciting to watch. Like I just talking about him, I want to pull him up on YouTube and watch some of his fights. Like he's exciting, man.
Well, there you go. Check him out on YouTube.
and of
Definitely
course,
do that before Saturday night.
Yeah, Terrence Jones, Juice Jones, as some of y'all may know him. He comes from Auburn, Alabama. He always comes to fight. Tough kid, man. He's been our champion before, and he got beat.
He'll be in your face.
Yeah, he'll be he comes. That's gonna be a scrap, man.
All right, and then after that, you got the light heavyweight title fight, which will be Clifford Van Alst and Ethan LeBlanc.
Yep, Clifford Van Alst. He's been fighting. He's fought on
3.
almost just about every card, and he keeps getting better and better. And he definitely deserves it. He's actually stepping up a weight class in this fight. He kind of took this fight not short notice, but that was one of the changes we made. He got off another card we had to do this. Ethan LeBlanc comes from Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Good young kid. He fought on a show that Yoda and I did with Atlas over in Louisiana, and was impressed with him. Good record. It's gonna be a good fight.
All right, and for those of you watching, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button, hit that share button, and get this out as fast and as many people as we can. The next fight, featherweight title fight, Darius Jackson, and he'll be taking on William Leeds.
Yep, Darius Jackson. He trained with me for a while, or Yoda and I both for a while, and then he moved to Melbourne, Florida, and actually trains under Israel Gomez up there or down there. And he's another one of these kids that just he keeps getting better and better and better every time you see him, every time you train with him, whatever. And he definitely deserves a title shot. William Leeds actually accepted the fight today.
Nice.
He also trains, at the same gym in Louisiana with where these killers are coming out of. So it'll be a good fight.
All right. And then we roll into the welterweight title fight with George Green and Spencer Deegan.
George Green is from Auburn, Alabama, from Cage Fit. He fought Joe Eubanks on our last show down here, and really impressed us. And Spencer Deegan, he actually won the 170 belt on our last show here, and they asked for that fight. Spencer Deegan, probably one of the best kids you'll ever meet in your life, man.
I love that kid.
Yeah, but he's tough, man.
Nice.
He comes to scrap too. So that's gonna be another good fight, man. We're gonna be there all night long with all these title fights.
So how often does a fighter come to you and say, "I want to fight him"? How often does that happen?
I mean, you hear it a lot, but the chances of them actually going through with it are 8 out of 10 maybe.
Okay.
You know what I mean. Not some stick with it, but most of them don't. But those guys, they just come from a good solid camp. They say they're gonna do something. They always do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
Like, all these fights. Like, I just love it because I'm not gonna have to worry about any of these guys not coming in. That's not gonna be on weight. They're all professional.
Trey walked in here and said he's been on weight for like 2 weeks already.
Yeah,
Like,
dude, I'd tell Trey go get something to eat the other day. Go eat. Like.
So, okay, then after that, we go into a lightweight title fight, Mark Seger, and Mark is here, and we'll be talking with him and Elijah Quayhagen.
All right, Mark Seger and Elijah Quayhagen. Mark was originally supposed to fight Justin Starks, which is our current lightweight champion. But he had to pull off the card because he had orders to move from where he's from, so he's not going to be available to fight. So anyway, Elijah Quayhagen stepped up. He's from that's actually Josh Quayhagen's little brother. Been training for a while now, and he's got good stand up, good on the ground. Mark's known me as the guys. He saw Justin fight or win the belt in our last show, and he's like, I want that fight.
There you go.
I said, if you want it, you got it.
Take it.
He said when. I said August 17th, and look, he's here today. So
we got a couple comments. Jonathan Ladner says Van Alst and LeBlanc's going to be a banger. And then Dallas Fly says I'd fight Yoda Sharp right now live. So, and then that was your co-main event. Your main event, Larry Bradford, Trey Mohler. It's for the middleweight title fight. Once again, Trey Mohler is here. We'll chat with him a little bit, but tell us a little bit about that fight.
Yeah, man. Larry Bradford. He comes from good camp. His coach is Thomas Webb. Good school in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. UFC gym over there. I've seen Larry fight a few times. Larry's good everywhere. I'm really excited for this fight. Trey, he's demolished everybody that he's fought so far. But this is going to be Trey's toughest test. And I'm excited, to let Trey's actually going to be able to show all of his attributes this time because he's going to have to pull everything out of the bag with Larry. That's a promise. So.
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you what. Just looking at some of the comments and looking at the card itself, I mean, everybody is anxiously awaiting Saturday night for this card. You guys have put one hell of a card together. Yeah. And the cool thing is you put it together and almost everything stayed together.
Yeah, no, that's great. But
it doesn't happen very often.
Very
so
when like I said earlier, when you deal with good camps, you don't have to worry about them, flaking out on you or not making weight or anything like that. They do what they say they're gonna do, and that's what we try to do. Stick with these guys that it just makes it easier on everybody.
Dynamite says, "Get ready, Dynamaniacs! It's going to be a wild night of hook." I see what he's writing.
It's hard not to say it in his voice.
In my head, doing it, and it's going to be a wild night of hooking and jabbing, scooping and slamming, banging in Biloxi.
I asked Dynamite the other night. I read something that he wrote, and I said, "Is it wrong of me that every time I read something that you write to just try and say it in your voice?"
Yes.
Like you can't help it.
Ever since I've known him, anytime he sends me a text or anything, I'm reading it in that deep voice. All right, guys, we're going to start letting the fighters roll in here, and here's the pleasures of Facebook Live. You'll be able to see them get up out of their chairs, and we're going to watch Mark walk over here and sit down, and we're going to chat with Mark about his fight with Eliza real quick. So while they're doing that, I won't go on. I was going to go on a football rant for a little bit about some stuff, but I'm going to leave football out of it for the next show. Jonathan Lander says Dynamite is the man. Right now, speaking of the man, we have Mark Seger in with us, and so let me ask you this: so you're fighting for the title fight,
Yes.
lightweight belt. How did you get into? What caused you, and what made you want to get into MMA?
Oh, that's a crazy story. Super crazy story. We there was a bunch of us at a shipyard. That's where I was working at the time at BT Halter. And there was a bunch of us, about 9 of us at the shipyard. We had went and watched a show, and we all just kind of said, "No, I could do that."
Right.
That's kind of how
I did that once.
It all came about. And one of the guys there was, his name's Bo Dickerson. He was calling our bluff. He said, "Well, I know a promoter, and I'll bring you down there, and we can all try out for fights." So I did, and we all went out there. I mean, just after work in our roughed up clothes, and I went down there, and the promoter was there. He was showing us out, and I went and hit the bag, and everybody looking at me. I'm looking at everybody else. It was the first time being in an MMA gym, and me and my girlfriend at the times. We had already split up, but her brother-in-law come down there, or her cousin came down there. He was a real tough guy, and he asked me if I wanted to spar. I kind of didn't really like him too much, so I was like, yes I do. And we go in the cage, and he fans me. I had 4 or 5 good punches, sidestep him, knock him out.
Well, you know what? Why don't I turn my phone down here? There we go. Sorry about that.
Well, Mr. Riccadero, when he come over there and said, "I can definitely get you a fight," and that's how it started. But I mean, it was pretty good. I clobbered him. But other than that, I mean, once I thought I knew how to fight, and after going there that day, I kind of and rolling around with all those other guys, I kind of quickly realized I didn't know anything about fighting. So that's kind of what made me want to learn it and just do it. And now I just compete just to showcase what I've learned. And
ain't nothing wrong with that.
It's
maybe Saturday you have a belt to throw over that shoulder.
I like that too.
So what is do you have a favorite submission you use, or a favorite type of strike that you use? I mean, I don't want to give anything away.
Not really. I mean, my jiu-jitsu is fairly decent. I like to think that I'm a little well-rounded at jiu-jitsu.
Well, would you rather stand up or be on the ground?
I always like to stand up because that's what gets the crowd going. The crowd wants to see, you going out there trying to deliver brain damage. They love it.
Yeah,
That's what they want.
No joke.
So I go out there with the full intention purposes of just putting on a big show. I mean, if it goes to the ground, I don't have nothing right there readily available to finish the guy with. Well, we're getting back up. I mean, let's do it.
Right.
I mean, they want to see it. I mean, the whole reason for being there is entertaining everybody.
I was going to say, I mean, there's a reason there's a crowd there, and you're not fighting just to an empty room.
I'm honing all these skills, and I'd like to show them all off, you know.
So if you had an opportunity, and you can go wherever you want with this, but if you had an opportunity and you had a dream fight, who would that dream fight be against?
Dream fight. That's a hard question. I'm pretty sure I've already had a couple of my dream fights.
Okay.
Like, I fought B.J. Lawrence, and that was a banger. Me and that guy, I mean, we fought, and I'll tell you, every time he hit me, it hurt, and every time I swung at him, it was bad intentions. But I ended up knocking him out in the second round, but what everybody didn't see is he knocked me all the way stupid in the first round, and it took me to the second round to come back to on that one.
Wow.
But that was a great fight, and I mean, I still look at that as one of my really good memories. We're not answering calls today.
So Dallas Fly says, let's just say his rear naked choke will leave your throat sore. Thanks a lot, Mark. And now you know why I preferred it over my jaw. So rear naked
Sorry,
choke
Dallas.
it is apparently. So on top of that, what does it mean for you to be a fighter? I mean, what brings it all together for you to be that fighter?
Particularly coming back after like 5 years off.
Right?
Like,
No, absolutely.
Well, for one, my youngest boy has never seen me fight. And,
Gotcha.
Well, he did. He got to go see me do Brawl to the Top in Hattiesburg. And I tell you, this boy was running around this whole arena pointing at me. That's my dad. That's my dad. And I don't know. I'm just making memories. I mean, just something to brag about when I'm 50, 60, you know, my grandkids. I mean, it's just something cool to say I did.
No, absolutely. So I want to tell you good luck. Fighting for one of the 6 championships that'll be happening this weekend down at the Biloxi Community Center with Gulf Coast MMA. Before I let you go and I get Odie and Trey over here, is there anybody that you want to thank? Your gym?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Tap Out Construction makes it to where I'm able to train like every day. They work with my schedule. They help me out a lot.
Kenny's good people.
Oh, you know Kenny. Okay.
Oh, I know Kenny.
Kenny and Jason and Alan,
Kenny
all them
Davis
over
is
there.
good people.
And Southern Elite Fitness, of course, they're my gym. They train me. They get me ready. I mean, everybody in there is just outstanding to work with. It feels like home. I mean, those guys are just awesome.
Right.
And they all work with me and help me get me ready.
Awesome. And then Jonathan Lander wanted to make a point and said Mark won the tournament in Hattiesburg, by the way.
Oh, yeah. 3 up, 3 down. We got them.
There you go. Well, Mark, good luck this weekend. And I've got 2 seats, and I've got Trey and Odie sitting back there, so they're going to come up front and sit down with us and have a little chat. So good luck. Thank you very much for stopping by. And Trey's going to roll in, and Odie's coming on over, and there we go. The whole pleasures of Facebook Live. Now we got them both here. So we said earlier, before the show started, you guys were just sitting there just talking. And I was like, basically all I have to do is get these 2 in these seats and shut my mouth and just listen to the stories that you guys are telling. But let's talk about your fights for a little bit first. Odie, you've got a fight, and you will be fighting Dwayne McQueen. Do you know much about Dwayne, or fill us in on your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've done, a little bit of studying on him, just about as much as I do anybody, but I try to focus on my game plan and what I'm doing. I've been focusing really hard on my striking, cardio, and different ways to set up my game, which is the wrestling.
Okay, so that was going to be one of the questions I asked Mark. Would you prefer to stand up or be on the ground?
I'm always preferring to be on the ground.
Okay.
But I don't mind standing up either.
I got
But look, the fight's going to go to the ground eventually. I mean, that's just a statistical probability right there.
I got
And
you.
that's my home, man. I'm a Division I All-American, and once you get there with me, you're in trouble.
Wow. See, I need to do a little more research. I didn't realize there was a Division I All-American sitting here in wrestling. So, what school?
Citadel.
Nice,
Yeah.
very nice. There you go. Trey, and you're going to be taking on Larry Bradford. So fill me in a little bit of that, of what your thoughts are on Larry and all of that.
I don't know too much about Larry. I know he comes from a good gym, good coach. I'm excited about the matchup. I'm comfortable wherever the fight goes.
Okay. That's, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
If you stay ready, you don't
Yeah.
have to be ready.
Yeah.
So, my question to you is, so what brought you into MMA? What made you, was there anything that just said, you know what, that's what I want to do?
I was always interested in, MMA, and just I finally made the time. I was like, I don't want to be, 35 years old sitting on a couch. Man, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. you
Right.
know? So I finally, had the time, and I was like, I'm gonna make an effort and make this happen.
Okay, and Odie, what about you?
For me, I'm a little bit different. I believe my fighting ability is a God-given gift, and I'm actually using MMA to spread the word of Jesus. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm trying to use it as a platform to reach young people.
Awesome.
Yep, help. I want to be a positive role model for young men, and I think I can do that through MMA. Reach a lot of young guys. I mean, young kids think it's cool, man.
There is no doubt that there is untapped potential when it
Absolutely.
comes to reaching out to the young child. Because MMA, I mean, it we all know, and I've never once will I ever say I've stepped into a gym. I mean, I have, but I've never once, and that was probably the end of it for me. But there are so many young kids, and the sport is still just climbing and climbing and climbing. And I think there's still a bunch of untapped potential with MMA, the sport itself. What you can do, who you can reach out to, all of that kind of stuff. So I applaud you. I applaud you for that. But you said earlier that you were from Alaska.
Yep, born and raised.
How did you go from Alaska to Biloxi, Mississippi?
My mom, my stepdad. My stepdad's in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Got stationed down there, and I went and started wrestling in Florida, and then I was very successful in high school and got a ride at the Citadel. And there it is, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what does it mean to you to be a fighter?
To be a fighter, I don't really see. To me, being a fighter doesn't really mean anything to me, because to me, it doesn't define me as a man. I have nothing to prove. Athletically, I've already accomplished kind of what I want to. It's a lot deeper than that for me now. Fighting is kind of a means to an end,
Right.
and that's affecting lives, as many as I can as possible. So
That's awesome.
if fighting brings me to a point where I can, lead 1,000 kids into, hope and peace, then I'll consider my career a success.
Gotcha. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, well, I can't follow up that, but no, I mean, I'm an amateur. I'm a firefighter, and I detail cars. I mean, I got 2 jobs, and I still do this. I'm more of it just like just the challenge. I like the challenge, the mindset, the physical. Like I said, you learn a lot about yourself on the mats. Just getting back up. And then just the physical challenge. That's where I'm at. It's a good stress reliever. The challenge, like, hey, it's kind of motivating too. You got I got someone right now training to end me. And I'm like, heck yeah. So that kind of is like, all right, he's putting in work right now. It's time for me to put in work.
Gotcha. So, outside of the serious questions here, you guys were talking off the air, and you were talking about, I guess, a road trip, and you said it's a whole story upon itself.
Oh,
so
man.
I want to dig into this a little bit.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah,
wild.
it wasn't a road trip.
Okay.
So I had a fight up in Alaska that
Gotcha.
I had to call. I threw my back out in a major way, and I couldn't make the fight. But I had the plane ticket and had lodging, everything good to go up in Alaska. I was me and him train together all the time. I was like, hey buddy, I got this whole trip set up for you. It's a package deal. All you gotta do, get in a plane, go up there and fight. And so he went up there and spent a week with my family fishing.
Yeah.
You know.
So how was that?
Oh, it was out of this world.
I mean,
Alaska, yeah.
Alaska's always one of those places where I'm like, one of these days, kind of like the bucket list, I'm going to roll into Alaska and just see what it's all about.
Oh,
How
yeah.
was it? I mean, a week out of the blues. Hey, you're going to Alaska for a week.
You got to go there. I mean, it's Odie's family's amazing, by the way. They just, open their house up. I mean, I can't even. Pictures don't do it justice.
Got some of that halibut in you.
Yes. Yes, it was out of this world.
So if you're talking to an MMA fan or somebody that's on the fence, whether they are wanting to be or considering MMA, what do you tell them about the sport that may bring them to the show Saturday or the fight Saturday night, or may even get them to get into a gym or something like that? What do you tell them about the sport?
I would say there's a big misconception about what you're going to experience when you come into an MMA gym. Yeah. I think with the way some of the fighters look and maybe act, you might think that you're getting into a situation where you're just going to get beat up. Yeah. You're just going to get thrashed. And that's true to an extent, but there's a lot of really good people, a lot of upstanding, righteous dudes in there that just want to make you better.
Right.
So I would say don't be intimidated, because there's nothing there that's going to end you. It'll only make you stronger.
Yeah, you definitely nailed that. Yeah.
All right. And where do you see your, I'll call this path, road trip, whatever, through the sport of MMA? Where do you eventually want to end up at?
I'm just taking it one fight at a time. I'm not trying to, do anything crazy, trying to plan, 5 years, just one fight at a time.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm for me, like I said, it's reaching that audience, so I'm going to make it as big as I possibly can.
Makes me smile every time you say that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I wrestled for 5 years at Division I level. I think I know what the winning formula is as far as training and mindset. I know that I can trust myself. It's only a matter of time. As long as I stay healthy and I do me, you're going to see me at the big stage. It's only a matter of time.
Awesome.
Stay tuned.
Well, guys, good luck to both of you Saturday night. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there. I have a real job that I have to do, unfortunately. But good luck to you guys. And once again, this was your pro debut that you're making, right?
That's right.
So how does that feel, making that pro debut? And how long did it take you to get to that point to make this pro debut?
It took me a little bit of time. Coming into MMA, I realized that there was a huge gap. Striking is it's a whole nother sport. I've got the grappling, and I think I've got really strong jiu-jitsu, but I had to catch up my hands. And thanks to James Sharp and Yoda, I was able to get a lot of fights with them and get some experience with guys that were good strikers and kind of test the water, use a measuring stick almost to find out where I was. And it was all about catching up those hands. And I think I got them caught up, so I'm ready to go pro. I mean, it's been a long time coming. I've been training hard for about 1.5 years over here, and man, it's time to go. Come watch.
Awesome. Well, once again, it's Saturday night. It's going to be at the Biloxi Community Center, Howard Avenue in Biloxi. Doors at 6. Fights start at 7. And tickets, if they wanted to get their hands on tickets beforehand, yeah, I'm not putting your phone number out here, but
It's already on everything.
oh, it's on everything. So call Yoda. Actually, you can go to Gulf Coast MMA's Facebook page. It's Gulf Coast MMA LLC on the Facebook page. Hit them up there. Get your tickets. It's going to be one hell of a night. I promise you that, ladies and gentlemen. Before you guys step away, is there anybody you guys want to thank? Gyms, significant others?
Yeah, of course. I mean, for me, it's, Mike Sanford, Alan Belcher, ABMMA. I mean, those guys have really put a lot into me, and I really appreciate that. I guess in closing for me, it'd be if you want to learn more about kind of my ministry and what I'm trying to do in the MMA world, you can go to odiedelaney.com.
Okay.
Check that out. What were you saying, James?
Make sure you make something you need a sponsor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, same with Odie, ABMMA, Savage Association, all my family, friends, guys at the firehouse that'll be there. Thanks for all the support.
So what fire department are you with?
Pascagoula Fire.
Pascagoula. All right. And you're not allowed on the show anymore. I'm just letting you know. Every time that I've booked you to be on the show, I've booked Chase the same night, and Chase is gone again. So no, I'm just joking. Anyways, James Sharp. Anyways, who wants to piss off Chase Sherman now, not me. So guys, thank you very much. Once again, it's going to be Saturday night, Gulf Coast MMA. It's going to be at the Biloxi Community Center, Howard Avenue. Doors at 6, show at 7. Stat card, 6 championship fights. Hit them up on their Facebook page, Gulf Coast MMA LLC. OdieDelaney.com. Hit them up there. Trey, good luck. Odie, good luck.
Thank
if
you.
Mark is still
Appreciate
back
it.
there, Mark, good luck. And James and Yoda, I look forward to maybe talking to you again really soon, like within a couple days, about how the show went and everything. Because I don't know if so and so's reached out to you yet about Sunday night, but we're gonna probably try to do another thing Sunday night, and maybe we can recap the fights and stuff like that. And thank you to the Facebook Live world for tuning in and checking it out. So make sure you check them out, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you very much.